ñu bari ñi ngi wax ne comme government bi approach bu mu jël ci bi ñu koy gazetté it's not fair ndax dafa waroon def consultation maanaam mu console ñi nga xam ne ñooy stakeholders yi di key stakeholders te mënoo see génne political parties yi comme yu ci mel ni tam UDP because of comme ni ñu ko waxee rek mënoo see génne UDP mënoo see génne NPP pour ñu mën a am ñu am na sax loolu dinaa si ñëwaat ci tey si draft constitution bi doo gis nañ ni di ministre of justice mu génn mu wax ne consultation am na waaye gis nañ ñu weddi loolu ci GDC weddi nañ ko UDP génne nañ press release Tango tamit ñu bokk ci civil society bi gis nañ ñu génn weddi lu mel noonu so ban jàngat nga ci am.
li Ministry of Justice wax loolu moo am te loolu mooy diggante man loolu laa gëm wala ni dinaay nañ ko is political ko tey politique toll na foo xam ne li am sa tey si ëllëg si kenn mun naa génn mu ne lii amut. Minister of Justice duñ jóg rek ñu ne defoon nañ lii def nañ lii te the evidence have been there we all saw it when the political leaders traveled here they went to countries so man that's my position and that's the government bi li ñu wax loolu that's my position waaye pour ñëw clarify or to just say a few things li nga xam ne Kemo loolu la fi raise you see benn dama dee dégg ñu ne waaw yaaxa nañ xaalis. You see, that's in my view, that is not lolu nekul lo amne is trying to play with people's mind ne yaha nañ xaalis. We all know that very well that ne legislative process or constitutional building process ne okay bill nañ consult nañ and whatever it doesn't mean that ne the loi bi so demé or the document bi so demé parliament is going to be approved. It doesn't lolu nekul. You see, we have to understand that there are processes involved. And I said Parliament is a highly political institution, and nobody can deny that fact. It's political in the sense that politicians have a talk, and everybody looks at things from their perspective that we are looking at the Gambia's interests. Now, sometimes you reach a common ground depending on the matter on the table. So constitution the process was done. It went to parliament. It couldn't get their way. Whether UDP voted for it wholeheartedly or this, but the factors leading to the rejection of that parliament, because that's the trick that they play on Gambian. Why using deputy vote nañ? Why send deputy vote nañ? What did they vote for? They vote for a document where it was tabled with controversy that others did not agree with. Understand? So su ñëwee parliament yow some members yi ñooy vote ñeneen ñi nga xam ne they disagree seen members yi they will vote against. Now what I'm saying here is that wax na ne I don't know, he quoted a number about the population ñi nga xam ne they participated in it, and that is also misinforming the public. This was a group of people named consult. No, you said about something.
I said
okay.
If we say we have to compromise.
No, before you read the compromise issue.
I said consultations were done.
You said a document that was, agreed by...
I said, let me clarify for
please,
you. You cannot cut me off when I'm trying to clarify.
All right, go ahead.
What I said is very simple. I said you cannot ask 2.4 or 2.5 million people to compromise for a single individual. For our low life.
And what does that mean? Because before I misinterpret it.
Yes, because what I'm trying to say is, you cannot ask people to compromise and let this Borough Constitution 2024 go through.
Which people are you talking about?
Which people?
The
Gambian people.
Then I would agree. I would be right to say. Because Purunyom, the constitution went consulted about 1.2 or 1.3 million. That's the Gambian population size, which is not true. The constitutional consultation process targets groups of people.
So then, are you saying that the whole process that the government itself?
No, I just want to clarify.
Was a failure?
I'm not saying
so
it's a failure.
I'm clarifying. 116 million because you invest dara mu war la jox result kon failure.
You have already proved that it was a successful process.
So then why are you contradicting that?
No. What I'm saying here is that we have to make these statements of fact that there were consultations were done. Now the consultations at the time of even the consultation, a lot of things that were in the because anything that was in that constitution, Gambia and Yokowa, and that was not.
But that's the fact.
That constitution, it has gone to the extent we all agree. They agree. He raised the issue of citizenship here. He raised the issue of other aspects. Mom, I remember Kemo himself making an argument in terms of even the educational qualification for a president.
Exactly.
When they said this, he said no, that's not. He doesn't.
So consultation.
So I'm saying.
So that's the consultation process.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So how is it
even in that document, he disagree.
Even in 1997 Constitution, you cannot agree with a whole document.
Exactly. You can never agree with a whole document. Wow. This is what I'm saying.
You cannot.
And that is why the issue of compromise was negotiated, but it was given a blind eye. Nyarel, if Majanko Samusa, I can never remember Majanko Samusa saying,
well, the videos are here.
Making a threat. I'm not saying. I said I can never. remember.
He was threatening Robina, who was the IRI country rep. Bediko call the core things in Parliament. He spoke until he came up with the issue. Them sign a constitution be.
Now I'm saying
people
constitution.
The videos are here.
Draft constitution. Said the draft constitution. It was
it is still a document.
Yeah. So I'm saying it was not a constitution at the time. I'm saying constitution be bumo gena. Amon na ñene comme Kemo num disagree with the issue of educational qualification. Am na ñene ñoo xamne they have even alleged that greater part of the Kenyan constitution
every
was put
constitution
into our constitution
in this world
here and there
has its inspiration.
So
even the American Constitution was borrowed from the British Constitution.
Now having said that, ñew nañ, we have seen, for example, the Christian community raise concern about the secularity, the issue of, because the secularity, that word, the secular Gambia is a secular state, was removed. They raised concern. They are not, so I'm saying, document, a lot of people, a lot of sectors of society have objected in terms of remuneration for the judiciary. Other sectors of the civil service has raised concern. We have seen a lot of interest groups also coming, advancing interest and expressing concern. Understand? Now, Parliament, ñom am the ultimate decision to approve or otherwise. Kemo lu mu si munti wa UDP lu ñu si munti wa seen député yu nekk si Parliament ñu rek ay mën a vote lu ñu leen jox pour ñu dem foofu noonu. They went with one single thing, mooy ne suñ génnee the retroactive clause bi, ñoom they are not in for the document. They have made that outright clear. Now, legal persons all over, legal experts have agreed that no document is progressive and will be called a law in quote and unquote when it carries that clause. And people have agreed on that mainly.
Which legal expert has done that?
We have seen it over and over.
No, but give us examples.
No, I'm not giving you any example. Argument legal experts have talked about this, but UDP's interest was to get back. Now, this thing was not about Barrow.
Thank you, but
it wasn't about Barrow.
But
now, the point here that the document, why it's about putting something in a document, law hamne, lolu mo for neka. Why mun lo tamit develop a document bo xamne you mu ngi target one single individual? Why was UDP's interest in targeting President Barrow in that constitution? Why? This is what they have never answered to Gambians up to today. In a whole document. No, I'm listening. Let me just say this. Okay. What do you say? You can say it to the moderator. Okay. But what I'm saying here is that UDP's position was true and true. They don't care anything about in that document. They don't care about the money. They don't care about anything that the constitutional process has gone through. They don't care the resources or the energy that was put into that document. What pour ñom leena rek mo wara nek ci biir constitution bi su fa nekul ñom they have no business with that constitution, and that is that constitution pour mu am mu target Barrow as an individual. Now you have President Barrow, and that's why I said the Parliament is a political institution, and constitutional building can gain politics in the constitutional building process as well. Civil society or whatever, they can be consulted, but the ultimate decision rather, politicians make. Now, bu UDP taxawé ñu wone sen taxaway ne li su fa nekko rek ñom duñ ko lifé lolu waxon nañ ko. They have said that. Legi bu document be into Parliament. NPP also said, now with this thing that you are targeting an individual, a document cannot be, lolu munta neka a document. So our people voted against it. Couldn't move to the next stage. It couldn't move to the next stage because nobody trusts the order. Because the point was, okay, let's move from this stage, you move to another level. Why, if UDP cannot be trusted at that level, why do you think NPP should be trusted to allow a process to go, further? So the best thing was it went through a vote, and this is what we have to tell Gambians. The constitution be for them through a process, move them to Parliament, and Parliament couldn't agree. And Majanko, I agree with Majanko, Balama Tuterek, I agree with Majanko and others, that there was a lot of influence coming from the civil society, that Parliament, in fact, they went further to say Parliament among authority.
Nobody.
Parliament.
How can you say that?
Said it.
How can you say Parliament about authority when Parliament is the one that's supposed to make laws?
You see, that is you.
Let us be logical.
No, you have to be logical. You have to be truthful. You have to be truthful based on what have been said. Let me get to that. Let me say this.
Let's not get to calling each other names.
Allow me to say this.
Okay.
You live in this country. Let us, like you said, let us be honest in addressing matters. You were in this country when the civil society, through a very prominent person, Kemo and many other people listened to, in the person of Madi Jobate. He stood here and everybody knows his position in the civil society. And other people, Parliament, anything. I'm just saying, I'm citing an example. Because one not feel lawyers.
Okay, so how come you can give an example of Madi in CSO, but you can't give lawyers who were the ones?
You said, let me give an example. I'm now giving an example.
No, but what about the lawyers you said? Because there was none.
Now, let me say this. Because they said, Parliament, let them not touch anything, let them just give us our constitution. Let them just give us our constitution. Look, this propaganda will not go anywhere. Because Funyo discuss a constitution, and they have exercised the power.
Yeah, so maluma buga moyne. It is very ironic. Minga hamne government mu set up commission, minga hamne mo wara work on the constitution. Then nga ñew back nga ne UDP mu nge target a president with that same hana ñun ñoo bi na constitution bi. Ndax Gambian people la ko bindé.
Greatly, bokka ngeen.
Naka lañ ko bindé?
Basa.
Naka lañ ko bindé?
Okay, let's proceed.
Naka lañ ko bindé? Ñun as the opposition. Naka lañ bindé constitution nga xamné nga né dafa target ben nit. It talks about the insincerity because they feel the interest of one single individual more supersede everyone's interest.
Just like you want to defend that was position.
Number two,
your interest was to have
how can you say a constitution was copy and pasted when even the 1997 constitution,
that was the argument.
Most of it, but the argument is not rational.
Well, that was the argument.
The argument is not logical.
Government's position,
so but that was most of what most of your MPs were arguing. It just shows the limitation and understanding of most of these people who are representing. And I'm glad most of them didn't come back.
Well, unfortunately,
because they didn't represent the aspirations of their people.
So
thirdly, no. But they are. But man,
this was a public discourse.
Man as a representative. If someone out there, my constituents or people that I represent, say nay, I didn't represent them, that's their opinion. It's an attack.
Oh, okay. So let's agree that the public opinion.
So
that was a public opinion. Yeah.
Thirdly, we have seen it here. Members of parliament, they were favorable to the government. You gain a few, so many things. Maluma buga wax moy ne you cannot say ne ñun dañ ne constitution bi bobu nonu dafa mention fi different pressure groups or different interest groups. The UDP's position was simple. Any pressure group or any interest group mi nga xamne am nga objection to any clause, bring it as a position paper to the committee stage, because loolu lañ wax nen lañ pass constitution mu romba fourth stage. So ñu démé to the second stage is the committee is set up of different political parties. When political party genuta am dole benen political party ci committee bi. These are all members of parliament. So they may fofu any group mi nga xamne ak committee bi daf di am experts. Every committee in parliament has experts nga xamne they are not even politicians. They give expert opinions on how things are supposed to go. So they may ci committee stage bobu any group bi nga xamne amna ci concern, raise your elephant. I'm going to raise a concern. Nobody can tell you agreement to every single dot in a constitution. Amut fen man suma position buma raise on was ne gowuma ne Gambia egon na to a position mi nga xamne war nañu wax ne pour nga nekk president fo nga am university degree. My position was based on the reality I saw on the ground, but nañu honest to each other. Even imam so bëgge nekk imam do dé jog rek nga nekk imam fo nga am criteria yi nga xamne nga wara fulfill. Sakatuma president of a country, there should be criteria you have to fulfill. My position was just people ñi nga xamne ñun ben national university lañ am té ñepp mënu ñoo dem ci university bobu. So doma mëna wone su ñun demuté university waruta mëna nekk president so amé aspirations. Why man luma bëgg ñu def moy ne we have to be honest to each other. $116 million was invested in this constitution. It didn't yield any result. It's a failure. And that failure has to be pinned on President Adama Barrow because his interests la supersede over the country's interests.
Okay. So